friends, welcome back to Toilet Homestead. Tonight we are at my mom's house in Oregon, and I have been promising you all for a couple of weeks now that we would get Mom on a video, and tonight we are on Back Porch Chat, which is becoming very quickly a favorite of a lot of you out there, so
hey,
yay. Yep,
that's good.
Yep, I've had people requesting it.
Yay.
So, and even someone requested Mom, so woo-hoo. There she is. This is my mother, Christy.
Hello.
Everybody knows Lindsay.
Hi.
And if you are new to Back Porch Chat, basically we just, you know what, actually we're not on a back porch right now, we are on a front porch. We're on Mom's front porch, so tonight is Front Porch Chat. But anyway, if you are new, basically Lindsay and I get together once a week or so on the back porch of my house in Arkansas, and we just talk about whatever. Usually I just kind of give a life update, and then we each bring a topic to the table, to the porch, and we either discuss it or debate it depending on whether or not we agree or we have conflicting views. So the other day, Lindsay and I and the rest of us, all of us, Coller people, were in Hermiston, which is a town near here, and we went to a bookstore. And at the bookstore, Lindsay found something that will be very fun for future Back Porch Chats. Take it away.
I found the book, and it is called The Mammoth Book of Conspiracies, and it is by John E. Lewis.
Yay.
So it's got a whole bunch of conspiracy chapters, contents, and stuff, one of which I'm actually going to talk about tonight, which I'm really excited. So
this will be
yay.
a lot of fun and give us lots. So you guys know that most of the time I don't talk about conspiracies just in my regular videos. I tend to save those just for fun nights like this when we're just being silly. So that is what you get on Back Porch Chat. You get silliness and conspiracies. So if you would have any conspiracies or other topics that you want us to talk about, leave them in the comments, and if they're fun, we'll talk about them. And if they're not, we won't. All right, so a little bit of an update. We have been in Oregon for a little over a week now, and we have been all over the place. We've been up to Jamie and I's hometown, and we got to go up to the mountains. If you haven't been following, I've been putting up a video every day of our daily whatevers, so you guys can check those out and see where all we've been. Sorry, all of the beautiful scenery. And then what else? We've just kind of been hanging out at Grandma's, having Dart Wars, eating a lot of food. Thank you. Grandma cooked chicken dinner tonight. It was really yummy.
My favorite.
Yes, but we're all gonna have to diet when we get home. And so it's been fun. We have 4 more days, and then we'll head out on Friday and head back home to Arkansas. All right, moment of silence is over. So, do you want to go first tonight, or do you want me to go first?
How about you go first this time?
Okay, I'm going to go first tonight. So I have been saving this topic for Oregon because I want to talk about Bigfoot. And Bigfoot, as everyone knows, lives in Oregon.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
Absolutely.
I gotta put my new Bigfoot hat on.
Ah, yay! Very nice.
Saved it just for tonight.
Very nice.
Doesn't fit very well, but that's okay.
All right. All
Looks
right.
good with your outfit.
Thanks.
It looks lovely. Trucker hat.
I'm wearing my trucker hat for tonight.
Heck yay. So here's the deal about Bigfoot. There are all kinds of different ideas about Bigfoot. Some people think it totally doesn't exist. I think most people probably know something Bigfootish exists. Mm-hmm. But there are different levels, okay? So some people just think Bigfoot is like a fun, silly, playful, silly legend. Maybe he's out there, maybe he's not, but it's just fun to think about. But some really can get serious about Bigfoot and the spiritual things behind it. So if you guys have not seen the video that I made about giants and the Nephilim, check that out. If I can get the cards to work. I tried to put one up the other day and it wouldn't work. Actually, I think it's going to be on that side. But wherever the cards are, check them out. About my video about the Nephilim and giants. Because some people think that Bigfoot is part of the Nephilim. And he's actually, you know, evil, demonic, whatever that's left over here. And so if you feel that way, I am not putting you down. That's totally fine if you feel that way. But we're just going to do the playful side of Bigfoot tonight. I mean, I am anyway. I don't know what you're going to do. But I'm just going to talk about the playful side of Bigfoot because I really don't know. But I personally don't believe that that the Nephilim are still walking the earth. But I do think that there are weird spiritual things here. So Bigfoot could be a spiritual thing, or it could just be a created thing. So before I tell you what I think, you tell me what you think. Mom can say what she thinks if she wants, but Mom is going to tell us her experiences with Bigfoot because she has a cool story. Okay, so why don't you start and tell us what is your take on Bigfoot?
Okay, so as much as I love the Bigfoot legends and myths and stuff, I haven't really looked into the more spiritual side of it. I've only heard a few things from people and what they think about it being a Nephilim. I personally don't believe that it's a Nephilim just because based on what the word says about the Nephilim being destroyed during the flood and stuff, and that's kind of one of the reasons why the Father sent the flood. Like, I've heard that whole, thing. So I don't believe he's that. But I kind of like to think of it a little bit more on the scientific side, more of in just some weird animal creature. I have read where it's a mix between a man and an ape, that whole entire thing and stuff. But I personally think it's just some form of or some type of unknown species of monkey. We see a lot of monkeys that have, or almost all of them, that have very kind of human-like tendencies. They've got 5 fingers on their hands, they got 5 toes on their feet. Some can walk up on 2 legs, they can communicate, they, eat kind of human-like. They just kind of act human-like, but they're obviously not humans. They're, monkeys, and I kind of see Bigfoot the same way. When you really look at him, and looking at my hat, he looks just like a giant ape walking on 2 feet. So I personally think it's just a form of it's some type of animal.
So you think he's a created?
I think he is a created creature of the Father that just hasn't really been studied much because he's just kind of secluded.
Yeah.
Maybe he could be an extinct animal that has been rediscovered.
So do you think he has any humanness at all?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay. I'm with you. That's what I think too.
Yeah, just reading some of the scientific stuff,
right.
It doesn't sound human to me. Yeah. It sounds animal-like.
Well, I tend to think that if we are going to believe that Bigfoot has human tendencies, then we have to believe there's some kind of evolution between animal and human. And then we have to go down the whole, macro evolution road. And I just don't want to go there because I don't think that is biblical.
Sense.
I think that he is an animal.
Yeah.
And that he's just an animal that is going extinct.
Mm-hmm.
You can go back, way stinking back, and find evidence that people many, 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 many years ago, hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, believed in this creature. They etched him out on their, we've seen the rocks and things that they found in different places. Yeah. So I think he's a creature that's always been, and there's legends of Bigfoot on all continents, and he's called different things in different places.
Yeah.
I just think it's a creature.
Yeah. No, I agree. Think of like the Yeti, for instance. The Yeti is kind of like an albino version of it. So if they're both very similar, it can't be 2 different things. It could be the same thing, just in different species of that, or different group of that species, kind of like how we see with dogs, or we see with cats. You've got a cat and a lion. You've got a dog and a wolf. You've got a Sasquatch and a Yeti.
Well, people like to argue, why haven't we seen a body? Well, I have a really good explanation, and also I think he's an animal also. But I have a good explanation of why we don't see the bodies, because here in Eastern Oregon and in the whole Pacific Northwest, we have a lot of mountains. I mean, we have places that you can't take a motor vehicle. It's hike only, and it's deep, high woods. And I know that when a deer or an elk dies, we run across them once in a while. Not as often as you would think.
Yeah, like a natural death.
Yeah, you just don't see them around that much, and once in a while. but it's a fresh one. And I have seen where ants, and this is kind of gross, but maggots and ants will eat the animal like within 24 hours. And they're gone, bones and all.
Yeah.
And I think that the Bigfoot, if they're out there, have died in a place where we just can't get to.
Yeah.
And that's why we haven't seen the body. In my opinion.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So I heard a long time ago that bears, and I don't know what other kind of animals, but bears will go into a deep cave or way back in somewhere to die. They'll go somewhere secluded to die.
It's like a cat will go hide if it's sick.
A cat
in a
will,
closet
yeah.
or something.
That's what happened to our cat.
Yeah.
Our cat went out in the forest and died.
Have you ever seen a dead bear
Yeah.
body? And we have lots
Yeah.
of bears up here. I've never come across a dead bear.
Yeah.
I come across deer sheds,
Right.
you know, once in a while. But
Yeah.
I think there's a really good reason why we don't see the
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just have a high enough intelligence, like a bear, to go somewhere.
Well, and they have been so secluded, because when you think of deer, over time deer are comfortably being around humans, so we see them a lot.
Exactly.
Or like a coyote out here. Coyotes are pretty common to see, and they're just they're after a while they're comfortable being around
Well,
humans.
that's why we don't see wolves very often. We have a lot of them, but they're really
Yeah,
skittish.
exactly. So that could be the same thing with the Sasquatch. They're so secluded, like it's very rare that you see them, and so they just that's how they are. They go and hide even more when they're about to die. That's why it's so rare,
Right.
to even
Yep.
see something.
I
hear
agree.
something.
I agree. All right, do you want to tell us your Bigfoot story?
Well, okay. Back in the 70s, when I was a young married woman, your dad and I were living in Hepner, which is a little tiny town. You know where it is.
We're going there
Little
tomorrow.
tiny town, about an hour and 15 minutes from here, right at the foot of the Blue Mountains. And everyone over there hunts, and they know their tracks and they know their animals. Well, someone found a track, and it was not a track of a bear or a cougar or anything they were familiar with, and it looked like what they had seen on TV or whatever of a Bigfoot track. So of course the local authorities, were contacted, and some reporters came over from a nearby town, and everybody headed to the hills to see these tracks. And your dad and I went up there, and I saw the tracks. And your dad really knew a lot about hunting and tracks, and he was convinced that it was a Bigfoot.
Wow.
And I was too.
Oh my gosh.
And there was a lot of people around, a lot of pictures being taken. There was a story in the local newspaper. You could look up the archives.
Wow.
But we actually decided to go off by ourselves a little bit and look around. And it was spring, so it was kind of muddy up there and stuff. And we went over to this little pond, just a little tiny murky pond. And we went over there and looked around, and we found more tracks.
Ooh.
And we didn't tell anybody. Your dad did. I mean, it says some of that was his special hunting grounds, and he didn't really just want the whole, all of the people. So we didn't even tell anybody, but we found some more tracks on our own. So that told me that this wasn't somebody doing a hoax.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
you found them somewhere
we went
else.
off on our own and found some.
Yeah.
And yeah. So that's my Bigfoot
That's so
story, and I've been
crazy.
convinced ever since.
Wow.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Nice.
So anywhere you go, if you drive around long enough, you will see, cutouts of Bigfoot on people's lawn. There's people that make them and sell them, like these big metal cutouts. When you go to the tourist places, there's always something Oregon with a picture of Bigfoot. And a lot of states are that way too. I mean, he's in, I was going to say Walmart. He might be in Walmart. In Washington, California, Idaho, and Arkansas even. What did you say the...
Oh yes.
Bigfoot in Arkansas is
Okay, so this thing is called it's called the Arkansas Swamp Monster. It's kind of almost like the skunk ape, which is a type of Bigfoot creature. I love studying about it. The more scientific theory part, conspiracy. But yeah, it's called the Arkansas swamp monster. I think that's what it's called. And it like I said, it looks a lot how like the skunk ape. The skunk ape is more kind of like a reddish. And it's labeled as a she rather than a he, like Sasquatch. Anyways, so it's like the reddish color. It kind of smells kind of gross and stuff, but it's
they all smell gross.
Well, they do. They got a musty smell.
But we've actually smelled them when we were up hunting.
Yeah.
And we've also heard the loud screeches in the middle of the night.
You smelled and heard them too.
Oh yeah.
That's terrifying.
Several times when we've been hunting.
Did it sound like an ape or nothing?
It sounded like nothing you've ever heard before. It wasn't a coyote. We've heard coyotes all the time.
Oh my gosh!
But we've heard them and
Wasn't
we've
it
smelled them.
Cougar?
Yeah. No. Well, I think your grandpa would have known.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think it's just one of those things that's like it wouldn't be terrifying. Like if I saw Bigfoot, I wouldn't be terrified because I just grew up knowing he lived in my forest.
Yeah.
So
it's his forest too.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just
That's
part of the
cool.
forest.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
All right, I'm taking
You
this
ready
thing
for
off
your
now.
topic?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
done with the trucker hat.
All right. If this thing turns off, we'll switch to the camera.
All right, so my conspiracy theory is Denver International Airport.
Oh no.
Okay, so this one's actually more of a new topic for me too.
Yeah.
So, pretty sure some people are familiar with it, but if you're not, the conspiracy theory about Denver National Airport is that there are underground tunnels in the airport that are either some of it has to do with like the whole alien conspiracy thing. A lot of times it has to do with like if there's like a nuclear war or something, then like government officials can go underneath there, like the president. Way back in the what was it? When was it built again? It was I think it was either the 80s or the 90s is when this thing was built.
I think you're right.
It was right around that time or so, or maybe a little bit earlier. And like there's talk about lizard people and stuff. There's also conspiracies over artwork that isn't there anymore. But there's just some artwork that had some really weird depictions. Like, you know, there's like some war type depictions like World War III. There's like, you know, I'll just say it, there's a Nazi in one of them. There's some other kind of weird stuff. And then there's Lucifer, which is the big giant blue red-eyed demonic looking horse that's at the entrance. Notice what he's called. He is called Lucifer. So I've heard lots of different conspiracies about the airport and, you know, just kind of how, like, for instance, Lucifer attacked his creator, almost killed the guy, fell over, and everyone's like, oh, it must be, you know, a god disciplining the guy because he's created this demonic horse. It's supposed to be the pale horse and all this, just this weird stuff.
So I have been to Denver Airport many, 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 many times, and I've never seen any of this stuff, but I have watched some videos on it.
Really?
No, I'm not saying it's not there. I'm just saying I've watched a lot of videos on it, and I do think what I think about Denver Airport. Okay, so it's apparently the biggest airport in the nation, and apparently there's a whole underground that's not airport-ish, and I think that it is a place where, like government officials, president, whatever, is sent to if crazy's going on and they need to have a way to hide away or whatever.
Yeah.
And your dad said that he thought that was what they do as well, as they send him there because it's central and it's sort of out in the middle of nowhere and whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I agree.
But
I
I've
agree.
heard, so there is a video you need to watch. It's called, no, it's from the channel called The Y-Files. And
Yes.
he just recently did, I'll put a link in the description box, did a video on the Denver airport, and he brought up all of the things that Lindsay has talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And then his videos are pretty cool because he'll give you the whole conspiracy theory, and then he will refute the parts that are refutable. And then he will say,
I've
you know what I'm
watched
talking about?
him.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've watched it.
There's parts that aren't, then he'll say, I don't know, or whatever. And
He lets you decide, but
yeah.
he tries to explain
It's really well
some
put
of it.
Yeah,
together.
he gives good evidences for things. So that would be a good one to watch if the Denver airport interests you.
Yes.
Did you have anything to say about the Denver airport?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have an opinion. I'm still
Yeah.
a work in progress.
Yeah,
on
Yeah.
that
that's
one.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've read about it,
Yeah.
and I know what you're both talking about, but I don't really have an opinion
Yeah.
on it yet at this point in time.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of really, really crazy stuff about it, even worse things than what
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
said tonight, but I don't know if it's facts or
Yeah.
not, so I don't
Yeah.
have an opinion.
Yeah.
I heard a lot about like alien experiments going on underneath and an actual alien overlords, as that's where they live, and then the whole thing. And I don't know, like I haven't been to Area 51 area, but I have been in like that place where you're coming out of Arches and you're kind of going up to Denver, like that whole, and that just is, it's just really flat and looks Area 51-ish, but it's not, and it just,
It has a weird vibe to it.
it has a weird, and
Yeah.
there are like stay out of this place sort
Yeah.
of signs there.
There's something definitely weird about Denver
Yeah.
airport with the art that, like
Yeah.
you said, they
Yeah.
removed it because people were talking,
Yeah.
but some crazy art and that blue
Yeah.
horse, and there's something definitely kind of odd. And
Yeah.
are they using it for a tourist attraction to
Yeah.
make it be
Right.
like they'll take a house and say this house is haunted
Right.
to get tourists to come
Yeah,
in.
but it's not actually.
Yeah.
But right, but could it be something like that, a tourist attraction,
Yeah.
It
or
could
is
be.
it really something?
It could really make that,
Weird.
because think of it like with Roswell, the whole thing that happened with Roswell. After that event, the town nearby is all alien themed.
Right.
There's alien restaurants. There's alien food.
They're
there's
making a lot of money.
Yeah,
off the
they're making
tourists.
money out of that, and it was over a real conspired. I think that's the right word. Conspired.
It works. It's a word for tonight.
Yeah, a real event that there's a whole bunch of conspiracies over, of the Roswell incident, and then they turned it into a tourist attraction. So Denver kind of would make the same sense.
It's possible.
It's possible that what it is a highly classified secret military base, because think of like I know for a fact that underneath the White House there is underground tunnels that they have built. I think it was when George H.W. Bush was president. I think, I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, but I think or it was Barack Obama, one of those. But they built these underneath so that the president can escape if there was an attack on the White
several
House.
of those all around the
Well,
world.
that's what I'm thinking. Like,
that's
maybe,
not a secret.
yeah. Well, maybe these tunnels either could connect, or there are different areas that they can drop him off at if one of those other areas don't work. So it could not technically be like a scary type of conspiracy place, but more of a secret hideout for government officials, and it just so happens to be Denver as one of them, and people have just created this crazy conspiracy over it being alien bases, being lizard people, whatever, because what you don't know, you make up stories about it.
Well, that's kind of what we were talking about the other day. So I definitely think that it is at least that it is at least something secret in government. But my big question is, like the mural artwork with it is very creepy. Like look it up if you don't know what we're
weird.
talking about.
They
There's
are
weird
weird.
artwork. So my question is, why? Why would you do that? Why do you have a blue red-eyed devil horse in front? Like, why? What is your reasoning? If it's not this,
I don't
then what is
remember
it?
exactly what it is, but there's something on the floor too. There's some kind of something on a symbol.
There's some Masonic symbology
That
throughout.
yes, I forgot about the Masons. That was a big
what,
one.
what is the reason? And that's what I think about all conspiracies. Like, okay, well, if it's not that, what is it? Why are you doing this?
There is a basis behind it, but because they put it there for a reason that is on purpose, but also to play with it because people will have conspiracies all over it and freak themselves out.
So it's
and
like
they're
a joke on the
it's a
people.
joke. It's a joke on the people, but in
could
reality, it's true.
It could be something really real that they just want us to think that it's.
They want us to think it's a joke.
That's what
It's
I'm
like
trying
when
to
they
say.
oh, that's a conspiracy theory, but then it turns out to be the truth.
Exactly.
They make fun of it to play it down.
Exactly. Yeah, they're trying to not scare the people, but in actual reality, in actual reality, it is a real thing. And like you said earlier, we got the murals of World War III. We've got this demonic looking horse. It is an underground base where the president can go and hide, and the president's like the highest dude in the
And
U.S. So
tunnels could be used for lots
tunnels, all sorts of
different
things. It
weird
all could be
things,
connected
right?
together for some purpose,
Yeah.
but because they know majority of how people are, oh, it's just a conspiracy. There's nothing to freak out about. But in actual, reality, they've got something behind it.
Yep. All right. Well, you guys let us know what you think about Denver Airport in the comments below. If you have any good Denver Airport stories or Bigfoot stories, let us know.
Yes.
Anybody have anything else they want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we should go eat again.
That's what we do.
Come on.
All right. Hope everybody's having a good day. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.